But a little bit about Marisa. So she is an animator and director of her own company called Enemies of Reality Media. Winner of multiple awards and has directed quite a number of leading actors throughout the country, and is the festival director for the last 17 years, 17 years, Marisa, of Lights Canberra Action. So that's 17 years is a long time.
Yeah, it is, and it's changed a lot over that time, but I love the event, so, hopefully I'll never have to let it go.
And what do you think's changed in that 17 years in terms of submissions?
Oh, a lot. Well, certainly we get more submissions now. But I was just saying before that in the first couple of years, we were accepting submissions on VHS.
Yeah.
What's
that?
Yeah, exactly. The young people won't know what that is. But VHS tapes we were accepting submissions on, and then DVD, and now everything's done completely online. So the technology has changed a lot in 17 years. But also the preparedness and the work that people put into the films has changed a lot over that time as well. So it's been fabulous to watch filmmakers, come and grow and head off to do their own thing.
Yeah. And some stay too, from what you told me before.
Yes, we've had many people who have, not many, probably a handful who have entered every year for 17 years.
Yeah.
Some of them have made the finals once or twice. Some have never made the finals and still make a film every year, just because they love it.
Yeah.
Because it's such an intense period. It's a 10-day filmmaking festival. You have to make your film in that time. So some people sort of look at it like, oh, well, I don't have time to make films at the rest of the year because other things happen. But this is a deadline. It's a tight time frame. It's a concentrated period. I can focus on it, and it's done, and I've made a film for the year.
And I suppose it forces their creative urges a bit more, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because there's a lot of guidelines. There's a lot of rules that you have to fit within. You've got to put items in and go with the theme and such. But there's a lot of freedom within that as well. But some people really need structure. Otherwise, they've got nowhere to funnel focus. They're unable to.
If I can ask you, so general advice on writing short stories, but I think more specifically, what will the judge be looking for in these sort of short stories?
What I generally, guide my own judges and what I look for when I read a script is a good story well told. That's pretty much everything in a nutshell. It needs to be an interesting story that moves along and has characters in it that you can either relate to and like or dislike. You don't have to like everybody. But you've got to see something in them that you recognise in the world, I suppose. And keeping them short. I mean, 5 pages is, for some people, they go, oh, wow, that's really short. But it's actually, I've seen some films that are 5 minutes that probably should be 2 minutes.
Right.
So keeping the script as tight and pithy as you can make it. So coming into scenes at the last moment, leaving them as early as you can, and not wasting any screen time, and that can happen on the page as well. Only put it in there if it's servicing the story and it's moving everything forward, or it's there for a real reason. Otherwise, don't have it.
And of course, maintains the theme.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and also, I suppose it has to be producible, right?
Yeah, I believe the intention is to possibly make one of these films. So, it's got to, I mean, even though it's science fiction, that sort of thing, you do need to keep in the back of your mind that, if it's got a giant alien blob monster, can that actually be made? And the answer is possibly yes. If you've got a 3D animator, or someone, or I certainly know a few, that kind of thing can be possible. But think about, short films have a particular budget. You don't want to be adding, a herd of stampeding elephants because that's expensive. You want to be generally people say that it's 2 people in a room and that's interesting enough. And that can be interesting
Just like us right now.
Yeah, that's right. We're fabulous. But you don't, think about Red Dwarf. That was one of my favourite TV shows, growing up. And that's science fiction. But really, it's a bunch of corridors with some sparkly stars out the window.
And a couple of boxes around.
Yeah, it's not flashy sci-fi. It's very... It's very much about the writing and the characters, and the scenario that's been set up. So it doesn't have to be, let's do a chase of fighter planes through space. That doesn't necessarily provide a good short film. good characters, believable dialogue, people. Really, it always comes down to people, and humanity, and finding something within those people and the situation they're in that make your story compelling.
So some people writing these short stories could maybe even find their way into Lights Canberra Action themselves, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We get a lot of genre films, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We had one a few years ago by Sebastian Chan that had like sleeper pods in it. It was amazing. It had all this, and they'd been very careful with their special effects. They'd kept that budget down and been very planned about it. And yeah, I mean, we had last year, there was one about our winning film, Mission Control Z, was about like almost kind of like angels or world builders, but they were just like public servants. They, wore suits and sat in an office. So you can be creative with how you use your premise and just set it up in a particular way. Masood's film last year was fantastic, and that was set around the moon landing back in the 60s. And
I know, I was in it.
Oh yeah, it's so good, isn't it? So cute. Yeah. And the kids and their costumes and
that was really good. That was well done too.
Yeah, really beautiful film. So you can do that kind of thing without the ridiculous kind of level of budget that you might need for a Hollywood blockbuster, but still make it really meaningful to an audience.
You're not making a Marvel feature here, are you?
No, absolutely not. They do that, and they do that very well. Let's let them do it, and no one else needs to.
All right, looks like we've got a question, Marisa. So this is from Favaz. Hi, Favaz. Thank you for joining us tonight. Should the short story have a conclusion, or can it be open to interpretation?
I would say either is fine. If it's open to interpretation, you want to make sure it's not a frustration. You want to make sure.
I hate that.
Yes, it is. It's frustrating. You want to give your audience enough that they're able to make their own conclusion. You don't want to leave it so open-ended that there's no way they could finish it themselves. It could be that you're giving them a couple of options that they can choose from, and that would be fine. But don't leave it completely open-ended so that there's no possible way they could figure out what was going on. But you can have your regular 3-act structure within a short film. A Knock Knock joke has a 3-act structure. So you can do a 3-act structure in something very, very short, but you don't have to. This is where short film is so fantastic. Short film is really can be quite experimental, and visual literacy is such that we can understand a lot. You don't have to put all that structure in. You don't have to do.
You have to explain everything, do you?
No, and you don't. You can start a scene, quite late into the scene, and we'll still understand what's going on. You just, visual cues, and that's another thing I'd say. Show, don't tell. That's a very much a screenwriting cliche, but it is because it's for a reason, because it works. It is a visual medium film, so you want to be showing things. If your character is got a bit of OCD, how could you show that rather than have someone say you're a bit funny? They pick up a fork and they go, oh, and they arrange everything on the table just so. That says more in half a second than having a character explain. So think about the personality traits of your character and then have them perform those things. Have them be that person, because that's how we experience the real world.
That's right.
People don't go around going, I have this thing. I do this. We watch them. And you understand from observing them.
That is really good advice. That's good. That would apply across any sort of film genre anyway, regardless of this one.
You want to make sure that your script is understandable and interesting to people who don't know you, because we're not likely to know any of the people who enter this. And as a good guide, if you've got a friend whose opinion you value, send your script to them first. Do they get it? And that's the big question. Do they understand what you're trying to say in your script? Because we don't know these, who's entering the films. We just get the script. So we've got no backstory. All we have is what's on the page. So if your film isn't communicated completely on the page, we're not going to get your complete idea. So make sure it's all there. Make sure it's all on the page in black and white. If you want it on the screen, put it on the page. Particularly if you're a writer working with another director, a separate person, you want to make sure that what you intend is going to end up in the film. put it on the page. Because the script becomes the Bible when you're making a film. So if you want it to be in the film, it has to start on the page. You can't be imagining things and hoping that by osmosis the director is going to put those in. You need to have those ideas and put them on the page. Describe basically you're describing the film in a technical document.
Right.
So a script is a technical document, and it is written in a very technical fashion. It's got, ways that things have to be laid out, and we can talk about free software that you can get that can help you do that. But do write it as if you're watching the movie. Make it so that somebody reading it can see the movie as they're watching it. As a director, that's how I read a script.
Yeah.
I'm
As an
seeing-
actor, that's how you read the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
You put yourself in that scene. Yeah.
And I'm seeing the film, I'm visually seeing what the shots look like. And if you describe the shot, not so much that you're saying camera looks like this, but you say, we come down through the leaves of the tree, down to the street level. That says already we're doing a crane shot.
Yeah.
That's expensive though, be careful. But if you're describing that, that's what the director's going to see, and they're going to do that shot.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've seen when they read your script. So putting it on the page is really important, and not assuming that people know who you are and what your intention is, because we don't.
And I just want to say thank you again to Marisa Martin, and all the best with judging the contest. I know, I'm sure you'll find some very interesting scripts in front of you. Please keep writing optimistic sci-fi, and we look forward to seeing you next time on SFC Live. Thank you, and thank you, Marisa.
Thank you.
Yesterday I fell asleep at night. I woke up in the spaceship traveling at the speed of light.